From Canada, tonight, two great cultural icons in one place. Better hope a meteor doesn't hit. Ed the Sock lives! Coming to you from the headquarters of Pigeon Row!
Popped right at the end. You're on.
I'm on. That was a hell of a cue.
Oh, we don't have, I gave you the
That
signal.
was not really a cue.
Hang on.
What's your problem?
Do you have image now? Yeah, now you have screen.
All right, thank you. Because we couldn't have figured this out 30 seconds ago. We have to do it when we're live. Anyway, welcome. Train wreck right
Well, that
after
actually worked pretty well. That was an accident, but I like
Ed the
that.
Sock lives. I'm Ed the Sock. Tonight, great show tonight. Actually, I'm really very excited. We're going to have Teddy Syrette is going to come in later on. He is an activist and an artist, going to talk to us about LGBTQ issues, the apology last week, and some other stuff. So excited about that coming up. But also tonight, as we've advertised, my old buddy George Stroumboulopoulos is dropping by as well. And we should also point out today is December 7th. Does anyone know what December 7th is?
The day before December 8th?
And the day after December 6th. Miko's on last.
Really? Pearl Harbor is that far out of your memory?
Well,
Really?
I don't know.
Ben Affleck ruined it for everybody.
Yeah.
I put it in my first.
I put it.
Ben Affleck's movie ruined it, so you blocked it out. Today is a day that lived in infamy, but apparently doesn't live in memory. Today is the day that Japan attacked the United States and brought them into World War II, 1941. I see what great students of history you are. Not that I can blame you, considering the History Channel now just runs stories about UFOs. Yes, Liana?
Okay, the thing is, Ed, you don't normally go smart, especially not at the start of the show. So I was expecting, like, Red Fox's birthday or the first time James Garner took a dump,
Superman
not an
resurrected
actual
from the
history
dead.
lesson.
Okay, I don't know the first time James Garner took a dump, and I will talk about Red Fox's birthday. But today, you should know, December 7th, 1941. It just shows you how, like, that was once... That was a day that changed the entire world. The entire world. Okay, Leanne, I got your pencil. It's a beef steamship. All right, anyway.
It was the closest thing I had to Pearl Harbor because you didn't give me any assets.
Okay, so also I want to point this out. This was a tweet this week from Metro Police. Pull that up. Yeah, it said, Metro Toronto Police Operations Center exposure, Woodbine subway, naked man running down street. Correction, he is wearing socks. I want to let everybody know I have nothing to do with that. It also didn't say where he was wearing the socks. It could have been a member of
Socks,
the Red Hot
plural.
Chili Peppers.
Yeah, it's at least two.
Yeah, that's right. But people asked me, and I wish you people would stop
make at least
connecting
two.
me with my ethnicity all the time. Everything that happens with a sock doesn't mean it has anything to do with me. Just wanted to clear that up. Also, Lonnie is not with us tonight. Lonnie's under the weather. So how about we all say, get well to Lonnie.
Get well,
Lonnie.
Get well,
Like,
Lonnie.
wait till the
Get well,
1, 2,
Lonnie.
3. What the hell's the matter with
Oh,
you
sorry.
people? Anarchists, all of you. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3.
Get well, Lonnie.
All right. Hopefully he'll be back soon with us next week. And Liana is wearing that freaky pigeon or poodle head that freaks me out. And Gianna with the parrot or pigeon head.
Pigeon row.
Okay. I don't want to look. This isn't the show of Dr. Moreau. Take those things off. They're freaking me out. All right. Are we ready for? Oh, sorry. Dr. Moreau was a literary reference. Liana, is that too smart too?
If I start sniffing butts, send help.
You'd
This
be
is
like
what I
one
have
of
to work
the, I think it was.
All right. Ready, everybody? Because this is very exciting. Very exciting for me.
Oh, it's the day the Civil War ended as well?
Shut up. House of Strombo is not the name of a new Italian restaurant. It's the new project from my buddy, Canada's boyfriend, George Stroumboulopoulos, who's joining us tonight. George! Hey, how are you? Just
George
give
gets
a
good
little
lighting.
hug.
I can't believe the first lady.
There we go. All right, come on over. Come on over. Nick's got the mic for you.
Thanks, buddy. Here you go. Appreciate it, man. Thank you. No problem.
All right, so
All right.
here we are with George.
Woo!
George, good to see you.
Good to see you, pal. How's things?
Good. Now you're looking a little different than the last time I saw you.
I have a beard.
Yeah, I know. Now was that a choice or were you marooned?
No, I would always try to grow a beard in the summer when we were working together, but the people we worked with at television never really wanted me to have a beard because they didn't think cats with beards were on TV. So when I was at hockey night, I was like, screw it, I'm just going to grow a beard. And that was it.
Because, it looks nice and trimmed and groomed. Because otherwise I was going to get you like a basketball named Wilson for Christmas.
Listen, last year, I guess I just didn't pay attention to it. And I saw some photos after the fact, and I might as well have been a castaway. It was so
you looked
out of
a little
control.
bit like Andre the Giant as Sasquatch.
I really, and
$6 million man.
and I kind of felt that way too. But you know what? You just got to be the real you, as you know.
No, but it was a big relief not having to deal with that every day, wasn't it?
Yes, it really was. I mean, I love not shaving. It's my favorite part. I just let it grow, and that's it.
We're not going to talk about whether that extends elsewhere. George,
I'm a Mediterranean man.
now are you still? You know what that means. Now, are you still healthy? You feeling good? You
Yeah,
look good?
I mean, I think so.
Are you still drinking that green goop?
You know, I actually am a little bit, but not as much as I used to.
George used to drink this stuff. It was this green goop. I swear to God, if you let it sit on your desk for 5 minutes, it set like cement.
It was horrible. It was
And
just
George,
smoothies.
every day, a smoothie. What was in that stuff?
I don't know, but
AstroTurf?
we were so busy at work. It's true. We were so. It was a bit like your hair. We were so busy at work, and I never had time to eat. So I started drinking this. But about 4 months into it, I lost the will to live. It just I couldn't do it. I went back to eating real food.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Now you're still a vegan?
Still a vegan, but I ate the actual food, not all of it, emulsified.
So you don't always eat everything through a straw anymore.
Exactly, right. I figured one day that'll happen to me if my jaws are wired shut. Why bring that on myself? So I just started to chew.
That's right. Why advance Father Time?
That's right.
That's right. It's going to hit us eventually. Just want to say, just briefly mention, I think that you were great at Hockey Night in Canada, and you were the scapegoat for a system that didn't know what the hell it wanted to do.
Wow, you're very kind to say that.
So-
There's a lot to it that one day we'll talk about.
Yeah.
But I had a great time on that show. I really did. And,
They tried to do something different. You tried to do something different, and it was a bunch of people. It was a new network basically, and they didn't know exactly what they wanted to do. And you wore it, and I thought you wore it with dignity and with class.
Well, thank you. Here's the thing, and you know this. You're like me in this sense. I know who I am. I know what I've done on television and on radio for a long time, and what I'll never do is pretend to be something I'm not. I'll just never do that. So I don't really care if every project I work on even works. I want everything to work, but I don't care if it does because that's not how this business goes. I look at artists like David Bowie and think, well, half their albums weren't that great. Half were. So if I can hit at that clip, I'm no David Bowie. But I don't need to. I don't need everything to work out perfectly because it doesn't. You don't have control over all that stuff.
Well,
Now the whole internet is going, which one sucked?
What?
The whole
Which
internet
one?
is going, which Bowie albums were good?
Oh, there we go. Well, it's like
I talked to Bowie about it, and even Bowie admitted to me back when we worked together at
Not
Muchmusic
many people
that
can
happened.
say, I talked to Bowie about the albums he didn't like.
Yeah.
George just drops that in there,
Yeah, no big deal.
No, you talk to a lot of first of all, music's your first love, right?
It is, but first of all, how great is it to be with you on camera again? And if I even look at the monitor and just see us, and like this is,
This is the magic, man.
we still do the things that make us feel vital. But a lot of the stuff that you and I were lucky enough to be a part of with that crew back at Muchmusic, we were part of the end of, I think, that greatest moment in Canadian television, because people from the outside don't really understand how incredible the inside of Muchmusic was and what we were able to be a part of and how lucky we were. So it's awesome watching you do your show. I love it and what you're creating here. But just to be back on TV with you, that's dope.
Well, thank you very much, George. Now let's talk about what you're creating.
Yeah.
House of Strombo, which I'm impressed because you got a real team behind you. You guys, you do great publicity in advance. I see the great black and white pictures.
Yep.
I see the video. Tell me about what House of Strombo is.
So I was walking down the street past Queen and John. I live around the corner. And my entire TV career, by the way, has been on John Street. Right? If you think about it, between Muchmusic, CBC, and Hockey Night, it's all been on John Street. So one day I'm walking past Queen and John. I was still working at Hockey at the time. And I saw that they had boarded up those windows. They covered them up for another show. And I get the business change thing, move on. But I looked at it and I thought, man, I wonder if everybody in there really understands how important Much was. And I remember traveling across the country, you did, and we would meet kids coast to coast to coast and see the impact Muchmusic had. We were talking about, our network was pro-gay, pro-trans, pro-woman, way before anybody was talking about it in the media. We were interviewing trans artists back in the year 2000 because it was the right thing to do on our shows. You were fighting for these things all the time. Much created a space where we included everybody. So I just walked by and I thought, man, it's a real shame that this doesn't exist anymore, where an audience, like a kid can come in and see their favorite artist, be close to them and interact with them, because that will inspire them to go on and do something else in their life. So I said, screw it, man, I'm going to do it at my house. And I called some friends and said, my lawyer and all that, my partners, and I went like, we're going to do it at my house. And they said, that's crazy. You can't let strangers into your house. And I said, yeah, but we will.
Them.
Yeah. But I'm like, we will. We will let people in because what's the worst that can happen, right? What's the worst that can happen? Oh, trust me, I know what the worst that can happen is. But I figured, what's the worst that can happen in Toronto?
Dead hooker in the basement. I mean,
Well,
I can think of worse.
yes. No.
Dead gay hooker in the basement.
No. All that, we don't want anybody dead. That's not the plan. But we just know that we trust people, right? And so far we've had no issues at all. It's been a really fun experience letting people in. We have like Elvis Costello and Hetfield from Metallica comes in, and Kate Tempest, and Lights just played a show. Jesse Reyes. We have these really cool artists coming in, and they love the vibe. Like just before I came to see you tonight, we had Jim Cuddy come in and play a bunch of songs today. Angel Olsen came in. Remember Amy Lee from Evanescence?
Oh, yeah.
She came in and played some songs today in our house.
She's still alive?
Yeah, she's amazing.
she
And
got
she
an
came in
I
and played
remember I
today.
did like 2 interviews with
I love her.
The first time I did it, she was like completely dubious. The second time, she was totally into it.
She was into it, yeah.
Yeah.
I still remember the first time, one of the times you interviewed Lenny Kravitz. And all of a sudden this chair crashes behind you, and it was Denzel Washington who couldn't believe what was happening.
Well, because Lenny Kravitz that day had been putting on, he had this cool air to him that he never cracked. This
Did he
cool,
have a big scarf?
disaffected
Yes.
air, and he
Gigantic
was
scarf.
mad because they got him the wrong kind of cookies.
Yeah.
Honest to God,
He wouldn't go on the air. Do you remember?
Yeah.
He wouldn't go on the
because
air.
they got him the wrong kind of
Yeah,
cookies.
so I'm doing the red carpet show. I bring Lenny Kravitz and Denzel out of the car. We do the interview. We walk through all the red carpet stuff. They go in there. They're supposed to start the MMVAs with American Woman, and the reveal would be that the guest who would join them. And suddenly, in the earpiece, we hear Lenny's not going on. I'm like, what? But I'm not supposed to end the broadcast until Lenny's on stage. So we're just killing time, trying to interview fans. And what do you think? And what do you think? And I remember grabbing Cone from Sum 41 and putting him up with Shakira and making those two talk to each other. And then Cone and
happens
Shakira,
here?
we're just killing time until Lenny got the animal crackers that he wanted.
I know, it was insane.
It was awesome.
Well, he was upstairs in his little green room with Denzel, and I dressed up like him. And I asked him, Lenny, you're he's a bit of a swordsman. He liked women. I said, do you think women should be sipped like a fine wine or guzzled like a Colt 45?
No.
And he tried to answer, cool, and then you just saw the entire facade crack and break. And he started to laugh, and Denzel Washington leaned on a tray that had glasses on it with water and
fell.
knocked it all on the floor.
And so hard. It was and laughed. It was really funny. You would never ask that question today.
You know what? Well,
You would never ever ask that question today.
No. But you know what's interesting is who's doing anything like that anymore in Canadian media, where you can have those moments that are unrehearsed and just it's spontaneous. Like nobody does that. You're doing it.
You're doing it, and I think Nardwar is the only one still doing it.
Yeah,
Like, that's it. The three of us.
Yeah, we're like the survivors.
But you know what? It's that Much Music ethos. It was this place where you had to go, and you had to know what you were doing. You had to know who you were. You did. Nardwar did. I do. And I think that's what sort of helped us. We were lucky to grow up in that kind of environment.
Oh, we're very lucky. You know what? I'd like to show a little promo of House of Stroumbo. Liana, can we do that?
Oh, this is episode 1.
Hey, I'm George Stroumboulopoulos. For the last 25 years, I've been lucky enough to interview the best bands in the world. Only now, it's time to take that party and bring it home. To my home in downtown Toronto. So, the biggest bands, your future heroes. Fire up the amps, roll up the carpets, and don't tell the neighbors. We are about to throw a massive party, and you're invited.
That shot there. So that bicycle shot. Thank you. We have a team that crushes every episode, and everybody takes this so seriously. That opening shot. I was doing the Stanley Cup playoffs for a hockey night in Canada. The game is about to go into overtime, and I have an artist at my house. Got almost 100 people sitting in my front like entrance.
And you're not there?
Dude, I'm on the air. I'm doing hockey night. So the
Are
game.
you crazy? How many people in your house? You're not even there?
Nobody was inside yet.
They're just standing outside.
Standing outside. The
Oh,
artists are
that's-
set up, right? Yeah. So I'm waiting, and it's like, okay, I think it was a Pittsburgh game, and the Pens were up, And then I can't remember what series it was, but I think the Caps scored and tied it, and it went to overtime. And I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" And I'm sitting there waiting. And I was excited to do that job too. So the moment that game was done, it was an early overtime victory. Thank you, everybody. Good night. I was undressing as I was walking to the change room.
You're like Superman. You're pulling your shirt open as you're
Undressed,
walking.
boom, right downstairs, put my backpack on, hopped on my bicycle, the crew met me, and we rode the bicycle to my house, and there was a show waiting to
Wait, how
start.
many people were on your bike?
Just me.
Okay.
Just me. They were in the pickup truck filming.
wait, bicycle or your motorcycle?
I was on my bicycle on that one. I used to ride my bike to work when the weather gets warm because driving around Toronto sucks, so bicycle is the only way. And I rode my bicycle to work, and as soon as it was over, I showed up and we had a midnight show.
Wow. Now, what do your neighbors think about all this?
I think generally they're a bit stunned initially. The ones who live in the building across the street, because I remember the early days of us doing this. They'd wake up and there'd be a gigantic tour bus parked on my street, and then the cult would get out of it. Or I remember when Scott Weiland got out of it and just walked up to me and said, "Hey, can I use your bathroom?" Yeah, you can. And I'm just sitting there sweeping the front. So the neighbors at first were just like, "What's going on?" And now it's like, "Oh, it's Metallica. It must be George's house." The guy who lives on the
not complaining.
No, the guy who lives on the right of me. I invite him to all the parties. He's cool with it. As long as he can keep people from climbing onto the roof of his house, we're good. The dude on the left of me doesn't live there. He just works there. But I figured. Here's what I figured. Where I live, it's all these clubs, and they play mostly terrible music. And that music keeps me up. All the boom, boom, bad versions of records. So I thought it's our return justice is by blasting good music.
You're trying to return justice to the universe a little bit.
Yeah, by letting great music blast.
Now, here, show that picture, Liana.
Which
Show that
one?
The picture.
The picture of at George's house. There. That
Oh, yeah.
Now, this is at your house. George,
That's my living room, dude.
do you even know
Thank you.
these? You know any of these people?
I know I don't really. I mean, I know the girl over on the right, the blonde girl. She just had a baby. Congratulations to her and her man.
Not related to the photo.
Not related to the photo. I know some of them, but no, I don't know most of them.
You're inviting strangers into your home.
Well, here's the
That's actually
thing.
very awesome.
Do you check your silverware at the end of the night?
You went. They went, right?
You were there.
Yeah, like at my point exactly.
Looks like that scene from
we took it
Travelers
down
with
to
the
the
quantum
left.
field in the background.
Now, do you bolt everything down?
No, actually, not really. And I just sort of have come to realize that for the most part, if anything goes missing, it's just stuff. So who cares?
Oh, really? Can I come over?
Yeah, you can, for sure. You'll save me the drama of having to get rid of it down the road. What I think is important is you have to have skin in the game, right? If the commitment to the audience and the commitment to the artist is that my house represents your house in the way that the red chair used to represent your couch at home. That's why I didn't want to do junket interviews. So the people who are watching at home, I want them to feel like it's their home as well. So when the artists come in, and they all say the same thing. They wander around, they go, "Oh, it's a cool place, whatever's going on." The crew looks around and says, "Oh my God, we're going to fit a whole rig in here." And then they do, and then at the end of it, they're like, "Do you really live here?" I went, "Yeah, bro, that's..." Because they go to where's the bathroom? They go upstairs past where I
How many
work.
bathrooms do you have? I forget.
I have one upstairs and one in the basement. And so they go upstairs, and then
Number twos are in the basement.
I would prefer that, but that is not always how it works.
Next time.
I think the last show we did a couple days before, somebody had gone into the bathroom before I did, and I went in there and was like, "Oh shit, we need a plunger," right?
Oh,
it happens.
The glamour of
That's
television.
what it is. But then they look and they see my bedroom and they're like, "That's actually your bedroom." I was like, "Yeah, that's actually my bedroom." And they're like, "Oh, well, it's cool that you have people in your house." They all think I'm crazy, which I'm not. I just believe, as we always have, the Much Music philosophy, when I used to work at the Edge in Toronto before that, the philosophy was the audience and you were the same. Right? It
That's
wasn't.
right.
It was. They were
We're
connected.
peers,
Right.
Not relating above them.
Right. And when they knocked on that window, every single one of us took that seriously and went out and talked
Yeah,
to
but
them.
none of us
right?
lived there. Right? You know what, George? You know the guest rooms in my house?
Yeah.
I filled them with cement.
Right.
Just so that there's no chance.
Nobody would come over.
I wanted to have a moat, but they couldn't get the zoning for it.
Well, luckily where I live, I have a big gate.
Were interrupted with people needing to use the bathroom.
I&Is, you never got to go to the bathroom. Once you had an I&I, you were stuck.
Yeah.
My place gets so packed, you can't make it to the bathroom. But if you can, Godspeed. If you can, yeah. If you
You
can.
ever get interrupted like you're doing an interview or there's like this crescendo then quiet and you hear a toilet flush?
That hasn't happened yet.
No?
But you know what did happen? We were having a performance where we had 5 or 6, maybe even 10 up-and-coming Canadian artists playing at my place with Jackson Brown. And Jackson Brown is this incredible songwriter.
Oh,
of course.
yeah, everyone knows Jackson Brown.
He's playing with these kids. He's taking a real interest in their musical attention. So they're all playing together. Then the cops show up. So I think Colton is the one who told me. So he's like, the cops are...
Colton!
Colton's over here.
Hey! I didn't even know you showed up. Colton's here. Hey!
Colton produces the show. He's the senior producer of the House of Strombo.
We all love Colton.
And so I go outside and I see two cruisers, and there's these cops there, and they're like, "So what's going on?" I went, "Well, Jackson Brown's playing outside." And the cops were, "No way."
Yeah.
And I said, "Yeah." So I said, "Oh, can we come watch?" "Yeah, man." Yeah. So the police came out. They came in. They walked up the stairs. They watched a bit of Jackson Brown play, and then they walked out. It was perfect. It was.
I think you should have police there all the time.
Ding dong.
Oh yes. Oh, we got a question
This is my
from.
new-
Yes,
Wow.
Gianna. What is it?
Who was it?
Gary.
Gary is asking if someone has ever puked on the floor.
Yes.
Oh,
Who cleaned it up?
Riveting.
Colton.
Whomever gets to it first.
Wait, somebody.
Is it?
I think that was actually at a party, though. That wasn't at a House of Strombo thing.
Okay.
That was a different thing altogether.
Little
Yeah.
different thing.
Is your house soundproofed?
No, it's not. No, you can hear it from around the corner.
That's awesome.
You can hear it, yeah. And
Brian?
at 5 o'clock in the afternoon when a band played, we had Death from Above play,
Oh.
and it was
How'd you
unbelievably
get to
loud.
attend the
Look at
show?
the big
Come by
red.
and check
How'd
it
you-
out.
You gotta come by. You gotta come and play it, man.
Yes, hell yeah.
How
Yeah.
would normal people?
tell my
How
boss
would
about
people get to attend it?
It's just follow me on social media because we post it on social media. That's the
Cool.
place. There's at Strombo pretty much are all the usernames, and there's also the Strombo Show. And I think on Instagram we have House of Strombo. So, and we don't have a regular way of sharing the information, so you kind of got to follow on all of them because
Yeah.
we want to make it a little bit of a
So
challenge.
what
for
happens if
fans.
people show up and there's not enough room?
That happens, and we just try to squeeze them all in. But sometimes people have to stay outside. We've had like 40 people outside sitting on the front lawn. It's nicer. We get some friends of mine from my old neighborhood in Malton have a
Malton represent!
That's right. Hey!
Yeah.
Malton Rock City. They have an Argentinian food truck, so they would just serve sandwiches. So people were fine. They were just eating. And Great Lakes Brewery were giving us beer, and they put Stroumbo logos on it, even though I don't drink. And we would just take care of people as much as we can. Sometimes people would climb the fence to try to get in. As long as people are safe, I'm not particularly protective. I just want people to come have a good time. I want it to feel like those old days.
But you still have that TTC
I do.
painting or with the frame thing?
Yeah, it's a roll from an old TTC car,
Yeah.
an old street car.
Good.
So it
Hope
just
you're
hangs
not too
in the house.
attached to it. I'll be over.
You won't be able to get that one down.
Oh no, Gianna, yes.
The chat is very talkative today.
Yeah.
So first of all, we have Aaron saying if would you do a retro tree toss?
We talked about it. Would we do a tree
Funny, I've
toss?
been thinking about doing something
The
too.
thing with I said, Colton asked about doing the tree toss, and I said no because honestly, the tree toss is your thing, right?
Well, actually, it was Steve Anthony.
Yeah, Steve Anthony's thing, but then it
And you
became
know what?
your thing over
But-
time.
But without Mike, the janitor,
Yeah,
who
oh, rest in
sadly
peace.
passed on, the soul of humanity, the
Yeah.
nicest guy. It
could
seems
get-
like it would be odd to.
Yeah.
But I still think people want these traditions. People talk about fromage being a holiday tradition.
Fromage was amazing.
People miss these things. They miss this media that they can connect to because it's odd. Much music was YouTube before YouTube.
Yeah.
And it was people connecting to their media. And now people want to connect to their media, but we don't have anything in Canada where people can do that, except for what you're doing, what I'm doing, and what Nardwar is doing. Apparently,
Yeah.
we're trying to spread the gospel and build for the next generation.
Well, what you're doing, especially by being live like this, is it's the collective experience, and I think that's what made Much so cool was that kids didn't just get to watch it, but you knew that other people were watching it as well. I love the on-demand world; it's very convenient, but to be able to share it together is important. That's why when you watch Twitter, things trend are generally shows or games that are happening right then.
Yeah.
And I think that that's important. And I think you and I were raised on that, this collective experience. But again, it's not just TV, it's community. But you're doing it, we're doing it, and over time, eventually we should have a crossover episode
Oh, that
where
would
we
be
cross
so
over
awesome.
into each other's
That would be so
world.
awesome.
That would be
We're
cool.
going to plan that out. Colton, make a note.
Is it like the
He's reading-
DC
he's reading
universe
Instagram right
where
now. He's not even
starts
reading-
here and
What's that, Liana?
continues? It's like the DC universe shows where it starts here and then
Yep.
continues on House of Strombo.
Yeah,
That's right.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I can swear, right, on this show?
Oh, yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Let's call that feud, right? We got to be fuckers about this, man, because everybody else, they use the word like, oh, that person's a disruptor now.
Yeah.
It's like
Oh, I hate
disruptor.
that term.
You used to hate us when we were those people,
No
right?
fucking kidding.
So we're not disruptors. We're shit disturbers and we're motherfuckers. And I think that's really important because if we have a pure social justice heart, we got to pick the right fights. And that's
Yep.
what you did. That's what we do. That's what we all did collectively at Much Music. And I know that media has changed dramatically, but we don't need them.
No, yeah,
We
that's
don't
the
need
thing.
them
They're
anymore.
they do what they do
Yeah,
and good.
good
That's
for them.
important for them to do what they do.
Yeah.
But it's like television used to be you had a Cadillac and a Chevrolet.
Wait, why aren't you
And
doing
we
a
were the Chevrolet?
Why aren't you doing a fromage at Much Music now? Like they do comedy shows all the time.
Because they hate my guts.
Do they really?
Oh, they hate George.
Really?
When they did their retrospective, I think it was the 30th
Yeah.
anniversary. Not a single clip of me was in it.
I don't think I was in that either, actually.
Really?
I didn't watch it. I don't watch it, but I think it was a different time. They were at that time. Remember, they were very public about not caring about their past. It was about the future.
Yeah, exactly.
But the
Which
new
they didn't have.
No,
Yeah, their lack of
the new management though. Come on, Ed. Maybe a fromage special.
No, they hate me.
Still.
Honest to God, did you get invited to Christopher Ward's book launch?
I may have.
I didn't. Everybody else was invited. They didn't invite
I didn't even know Chris that well though. I didn't know Christopher that well. I met him a couple of times.
He interviewed
but-
me for his book.
Did he
I was
really?
in his book, and I didn't even get freaking invited.
Oh, that's hilarious.
No,
That's an oversight. That wasn't on purpose.
Oh, yeah, an oversight.
Yeah.
They invited people who swept the floors. They didn't invite me. Oversight. And they didn't put me in the anniversary show. Oversight. They just said, we had so many great things that there just wasn't room. That's a load of bullshit. Most of those great things were me. Okay, yes, Gianna.
True.
So Jason is asking, did you ever work with Mike and Mike's Great Cross Canada adventure?
I never did.
Well, I've done stuff with Mike when he was out east. So Mike used to have a little tiki bar in his garage, so I would do stuff with Mike out east. But I didn't. They were before us, and what ended up happening was they ended up doing much east and much west at the time, which became going coastal. So Mike was doing the east stuff before they
Well,
hired.
actually, a sad story because one of the mics
Yep.
was like working on a loading dock afterwards.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, because that's what happens in Canadian media.
Yeah.
It's unlike in the States where they say, hey, in Canada, it's like, very well, good for you. You've had a show. Back of the line to you. And because in Canada, I like to say, in Canadian media, they like to bury their treasures.
Yeah, they don't like stars here very much. The media, that's for sure, because they don't want to have to pay you.
Well, yeah, exactly. And the thing is, they don't even ask what you'd like. They just assume you're going to cost more. Also, they can't control you the same way.
But it's really fun when you can get through it, isn't it?
Oh,
When you
those
succeed
were
in place of.
days, yeah. Now, let me ask you something.
There's
You
still
have-
the days. We're still doing it.
We're bringing them back.
Yeah.
Oh, Gianna, again? Yes.
Chat. She's doing her job.
Thank you for that mature
No, but I
interjection.
do actually have a question.
Yes.
Okay.
I lost it now. Oh, Brian is asking what Strombo's favorite album of the year is.
Ooh.
Oh, I don't even
Da-da-da-da.
know. We're compiling it now. I can't.
Okay, he can't
no.
reveal that now.
Yeah, we're putting it together our hundo, which in the beginning of January is the 100 best songs of the year.
And where can they find that?
It'll be on our radio show, which is on CBC on Radio
right.
2. There are a few that are definitely in the running though that I absolutely love, but I don't know what my favorite is quite yet. It's a debate. We're having a debate. Jesse Reyes is one of
His
them.
radio show.
Jesse Reyes is one of them.
Yeah,
for sure.
Jesse Reyes is one of them.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, and yes, Gianna.
So Christina is asking, would you ever consider making the show
One that travels around to.
Yeah,
different
on the road.
houses?
I think so. We've talked a little bit about it. We
Yeah, you're
wanted
going to go to other people's houses.
Yeah, I mean, I have a place.
Knock, knock.
That's true. That's a good question. I have a place in LA, right? And in LA, we had Tom Morello from Rage and Chuck D from Public Enemy come over. So we're talking about that. And where I was in New York, I had this tiny apartment where my neighbor was not interested in any noise whatsoever. So I wanted to do a House of Strombo whisper series where bands would come in and rap, but we'd have to put the output would be headphones, which would be in a pot. And you just have to mic the pot. Just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think that would be kind of fun. But we, down the road, we have a plan to kind of roll out a much bigger music play, because the one thing that we can say is that our legacy of loving and supporting and sharing music is solid, and we will continue to do that and grow that across the country.
Let me ask you something. You invite all these people into your house. Where is your private place? Where you can feel like it's just yours, nobody else is there. We all need that. Whenever you're in the media,
Yeah.
you need a place that is just your place where the public hasn't been. Where's yours if they're all through your house?
You know what I do now is I and I don't know how your brain works. I can't.
Nobody does.
That's true. I can't do a start or a start or a pause. I need to stop, right? So all I think about is I can work like this the way I do letting people in, because I know sometime around end of May, beginning of June, I'm going to hop on my motorcycle and I'm going to ride to California. And about a day into that trip on the road, that's when my brain goes quiet. And I make sure in the summer that I don't work that much and then I just ride around the continent on the bike. And that, to me, is a place where I can get quiet. And then I go to LA, and I need that. I started doing that when I was at Much, driving to LA on a bike, and it was the best feeling in the world. And between that and going to Burning Man, those are like the two things I think about mostly that aren't work related.
All right, so your private place is inside your head.
Pretty much.
All right.
Pretty much. Everything else is noisy.
Yeah, well, see, that's why my place is quiet.
Yeah.
My home, Angri-La. All right. So, House of Strombo.
Yeah.
They can find you on social media.
Yeah, we upload them on our YouTube channel. If you follow our YouTube channel, it's the Strombo Show. We put all of our videos there. You see, we have a catalog up there right now that's kind of crazy. It's just crazy to look at it because we're like, oh man, how did we, in a short span of a few years, we put together quite a gathering of artists, and you can watch them all right now. And some of them stay up for a long time.
Strombo Show on YouTube.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
All right, check that out, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, George Stroumboulopoulos.
Oh man.
Yeah, good to see you, man. All right, we're going to do a Throwback Thursday, which was Nick's idea. And to do that, we're going to play an interview I did with the Backstreet Boys.
Amazing.
And after that, Teddy Syrette's going to join us, talk about LGBT, I can never get it right, all those issues that are important. So, George, thank you.
Thanks, bud. Great to see you, man.
Great to see you, too. All right, let's take a look. Throwback Thursday. All right, look. Backstreet's back. All right. Yeah, look, one of them finally remembered. All right, so I can see how this is going to go. You know what? I should start first by thanking you guys. Because if it wasn't for you guys and the music that followed you, I would have had nothing to bitch about for 5 years on the air.
Cool. We're glad that we gave you that
you're such
opportunity,
You're such
and
giving people.
here we are again, so you can start it right back up.
Oh, yeah, it's like old times again. All right, so Backstreet Boys, but it's years later. You're not boys anymore.
No, we're not.
No, what, Backstreet Men? Sounds a bit seedy.
They want to call us that, but
No?
we're still like the
Well, look at the Beastie Boys. They haven't changed their name. So.
Yeah, they haven't changed their music either.
Hello.
Oh,
Yeah.
come on now. The
like
Beasties
the Beastie Boys.
are the bomb.
Okay, this wasn't a referendum on the Beastie Boys, okay? Now, you guys, when you left, you're on top, all right? You sold millions of albums back when people could still sell millions of albums.
Yep.
Why are you coming back now? Why take a risk?
Well, now you can only sell 2 or 3 records, and it's important to sell 2. No, it's
You need a
important
mint?
for us.
Don't get that close again.
He just had
Don't
some
do that.
garlic earlier.
Yeah, it's coming through your pores. All right, do I
Watch
get an
out, it'll
answer?
suck that cigar right out of your
I
mouth.
was just gonna say it's good. It's good to be back. You can have things to gripe about, and and we can, we've got a strong fan base. We've got a loyal fan base, and honestly, we could tour the rest of our careers because our fans are so great. So
Well, that's what I was thinking is one of the advantages of coming back now is that it's years later, and a lot of your original fans are legal.
Yeah.
that's
an added
actual
advantage.
reason. That was the actual reason.
Yeah, I know, Howie. You look like it's been a
You've
dry
really,
spell.
you've really got.
Yeah, you look like
He's had a dry spell.
Yeah.
Had a couple of hairs cut off.
Yeah.
So you try to get back.
You've really gotten to the core of it, though. Exactly.
Well, that's kind of my gimmick. So listen, Kevin, years ago you said, we do more than just sing and dance. We've got a brain too. Now, while you guys were broken up, who had custody of the brain?
We've got one brain.
Yeah.
Brain for all of us.
What we
did you
did
do?
is
Just shuttle it around?
monthly we traded it off.
We've had brain damage.
It's good that you guys were
The
very
doctor said I
democratic.
had Dame Bramage, but I don't know.
Oh, he's a bit dyslexic. All right. Now, you guys ever look back at any of your songs or videos and just cringe?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, which one?
We all gotta start somewhere.
All right, which one do you hate the most?
I mean, don't you look back at your old socks and just cringe?
Actually, I just look back at your stuff and cringe.
What color was your hair last
My color's always been green, pal.
year? Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Boston fan.
All right, now.
of gray in there though now.
Yeah, since this interview started.
That's a little jizz, I think.
Wow, they didn't say jizz years ago.
Hello.
Yeah.
Because our fans are legal.
Now they're Backstreet Men. They can talk about porn.
Yes.
Now,
I gotta go.
Nick, come here, Nick.
Speaking of porn,
Now, Nick, I have a question for you.
this is-
When that sidekick got hacked, were you mad that your number got out or that more people didn't call?
His number wasn't in it by that time. Number wasn't in it, and nobody was calling me anyway. Not until the record got released. So
Right.
yeah.
now
once we
people are
released,
calling
everybody's
them.
calling now.
You know,
so
because
it's
What do they want
they're
from
legal
them?
now.
Yeah.
I don't know, they wanna make a porn.
Telemarketers. Yeah, calling them during dinner. All right, so what are your goals now that you're back? You got your album out. Well, obviously people don't sell millions of albums anymore because they can steal it off the net. So what are your goals? You just want to make music. You want to make people happy.
Yep, we don't really have any
We
expectations.
just want to
with
make
this
music
record.
till our pubes turn gray.
Yes, we just want to have fun
Wow,
again.
there's an image I never ever had to have. Because it's gonna take Nick a long time because he's blonde.
Exactly. AJ's going great. Look
Yeah,
closely.
I've got
See
some
this?
grays right here. I've got one for Brian, one for Howie, one for Kevin, and one for Nick. but
I don't know
it's
about down
okay.
there, but
What about it?
What the hell happened to these guys? They were nice, clean-cut kids. They go away, they come back. Look what they're talking about. All right, you know what? You guys are too raunchy even for me. But thank you for coming back. Now I have something to talk about because, you know, a kite rises against the wind.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, none of them know what I mean. Okay, thank you guys. What?
You got another Cuban?
Yeah, like I'm gonna share with you. You got more money than me. You go buy your own frickin' Cubans. It's the Backstreet Boys, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, try that again. All right. Oh yeah, come on, Nick. Come on, Nick. Go on. Get it all out of your system.
Relax.
Yeah.
Yo, you got a gray in there too.
Yeah, don't come that close.
Look at that.
Teddy Syrette. Hello, Teddy. How about a big round of applause for Teddy?
Hello. Bonjour.
All right, Teddy. Now, I have to apologize in advance because you like to be referred to as they and their. I've never actually done that properly.
Okay.
So if I screw up, it's not because I'm insensitive or Jordan Peterson. It's because this is a new thing.
Nice.
So I'm doing my best. Okay,
No,
so
thank
Teddy,
you.
you are an artist and an activist.
Yes.
And last week, Prime Minister Trudeau apologized to the LGBTQ community for the bigotry and ruined lives that happened to people who had government jobs because they were discovered to not be heterosexual. Now, you're a younger person. That probably didn't affect you at the time. You don't have a government job. What does it mean to you, though, as somebody in that community, to see that happening now?
I think it's just like a great message because like gays folks, like we fucking go through a lot around here, and like even being in Toronto, like I identify as a brown person. I'm Indigenous. I'm Ojibwe, and a lot of people's like, yo, go to the village. It'll be fine. It'll be a nice community all there. And that's not always the fucking case because sometimes there's still like a lot of racism and classism that happens there. So the apology that came up through last week was, I think, it set a good precedent for people to move forward and to acknowledge that there are LGBTQ people there, lesbians, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, alphabet soup, as some people call it, it's really important because so people can move forward and to stop bullying and stop harassing and start people treating like shit. There's a lot of issues that happen in Church Street right now, and people like missing, and people are facing violence like every day. So
now you mentioned classism and stuff even within the community, the alphabet soup community, as you put it. That's what we were talking about, was classism and racism within that. Was more of the we'll get to that afterwards. Is more of the trouble coming from within the community now or without?
Well, there's a lot of lateral violence. That's the one thing where people think that it's all rainbow people and they were all compassionate, caring people, and it's a party every time when it comes to Pride. But that's not the case for a lot of people, where there's a lot of people who are still in the closet, who are not safe to come out, who face transphobia if they're trans, or biphobia. There's biphobia eraser, where there's gays and lesbians who believe that being bisexual is a choice, or that they're just confused, or they're just being slutty. And that's just like, what? That's very true.
Well, I guess what you're pointing out is that gay, lesbian people, they're people. And people are people. And your sexual orientation doesn't change essential human nature, which varies from person to person. So you're going to have, I mean, it's not wrong or strange to have classism or bigotry, or, like people, gay people thinking that bi people are just, going through a phase or something, the kind of judgments that they'd had visited on them, because they're human beings, and this is what human beings, unfortunately, have a propensity to do.
No, that's very true. Like, there's violence in like every kind of culture and any kind of group of people where you're coming from, and it's just a matter of like how do you maneuver that. And I think it's a fine line when you're looking for like the rights of other people, and when it comes to like freedom of speech, that's a huge thing right now. When we're talking about like the issues of pronouns and other people not recognizing other people's identities and how they want to identify and for themselves, because that's just who they are. And you have other people erasing that or questioning that or saying, well, that's not the right language that we use. Well, language is always advanced. So
come on, these are the same people this is the same language that now has literally also means figuratively. Because people kept using literally wrong, and so they actually gave in and said literally also means figuratively, which is the antonym of the actual term. So talking about, language evolves all the time to suit new challenges, new technology.
Yeah.
So some people are just being assholes about it. Now, in your life, have you seen public attitudes change towards you? Like, have you experienced a change in how people regard you?
Definitely, because I think I came out at a very young age. I knew that I was fabulous at a very young age. There was no fucking way I could hide all of this in the closet. So,
Can't hide that under a bushel?
I know.
No way.
I've had an elder once told me there's no closets in wigwams or teepees, so where the fuck else are we going to go?
That's where do you guys put everything? It's another question for another day. All right, but go on.
No, but I think those advancements have changed because I think with we are seeing people's who are asking more questions. Like with the advancements of social media, the advancements of getting that message out there through the internet, you can Google this shit. You can just Google what is pronouns, what is this LGBTQ acronym, how far do I have to go to understand where other people are coming from. But it's just a basic understanding that people are still people, and you still need to try and treat them with kindness and respect as much as possible. There are times I think George had mentioned where you pick those battles, because sometimes there are battles that can't be won, and you really have to weigh the factors. Is this a safe place? Is this a safe opportunity for me to step up and say something or not? Because that bystander effect is real, but the bystander effect also creates a lot of violence because
Explain
the
bystander effect.
It means when you see something happening, like an act of discrimination, for example, that young girl who was in Vancouver who was on the metro, and someone came up to her and started put her face in his crotch and hit her. And then a young gentleman stepped in.
That happened to me too on the subway.
So and that happens. That's very true because
Wait a minute,
gendered violence.
I didn't hear about this.
Somebody was putting their crotch.
Their crotch in a woman's.
It's on social media.
What the hell?
Yeah.
What is wrong with these people, man?
Yeah, that's
Canada, land of the free, y'all.
But what
Free for who?
the guy was exhibiting his freedom, but you don't have that kind of freedom because freedom has limits. And what happened? Did the bystanders do anything?
They said there was a train of people on there, and one person stood up, but there was other people who were just shocked to see what would happen.
Well, sometimes you're not ready for that, and you have a range of possibilities that are going to happen to you when you go out. When something happens so far outside of the range of your possibilities, people sometimes freeze, but freezing should only last so long when that kind of shit is going on. I can't believe people don't step up. And now, obviously, you hear about people who step up and get shot, but you know what? You still do the right thing. That's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, it's
try your
why
best.
is this crap happening? It's like,
So the world needs more Macs.
Yeah, people like me. It's like I've learned a lesson a long time ago. Just leave them alone. Like they don't need to be harassed. I mean, they just don't want to be touched for no apparent reason.
Yeah, well, that's about it, eh, Teddy?
Yeah, it's none of anybody else's business. Like if you see somebody, you try to figure out what gender they are, unless you want to get into their pants because you find them attractive, or if you want to just try to have a relationship, or it's what this person's about. It's none of your fucking business, and you just have to go back to your day. And
Well, that thing, Canadians, I tend to find versus Americans, we're much more live and let live in that sense.
Yeah, well, it's a different case altogether in the States. We have laws that are being taken back from people who have fought for them, and that's the whole reason why I do the advocacy work, because it's important to talk about that history, whether it's LGBTQ or whether it's Indigenous history, because if you don't remember that history, you have the tendency to repeat it. And
Well, that's not it. Those who forget history are doomed to repeat it. I forget who said that. I think that was
some
me.
person.
Yeah.
Of course it was you.
Yeah, that was me. Now, Teddy, you're Ojibwe, and things we're learning about more nowadays is that in some native tribes, there were 4 or 5 different gender classifications. Am I right?
Yeah, well, there's a modern term right now that's being used. That came out in the early 90s from a conference where Indigenous and Native American and First Nations, LGBTQ people came together. And somebody came up with this term. It was two-spirit, and it was basically the balance between maleness and femaleness, or a fluidity between masculinity and femininity. So, again, multiple genders. And there's research out there that shows that there's been over 100+ terms for languages for gender diverse, transgender, non-binary, intersex folks here on Turtle Island, North America, from 150 years ago and 150 years after that. So
the concept of the binary is something that is fairly European.
Yeah, and that's why the whole term came to be, because those people who were at this conference were fed up of identifying with language or terminology that wasn't rightfully there, because within our own cultures, within our own spiritualities and our own ceremonies, we have a place for two-spirit people. So I believe homophobia, transphobia, and biphobia are acts of colonialism, because we never had it here. Why did we never called people faggots? We called them a part of our community. So, and I think that's a one standpoint of going. Thank you. And I think it's just the mentality of like, if we can try and figure out and open more space, especially for two-spirit people and Indigenous people and other marginalized people who live in Canada, because we preach about being diverse, we preach about being a community that's welcome and open for all, but that's not the case, because we just had the Prime Minister apologize the other day for the acts of the atrocities that happened to LGBTQ people just for being gay, for being lesbian, for being outed. Like, Christ, there was a goddamn machine called the Fruit Machine that tested people to see how gay they were.
Yeah.
So, only in Canada.
You put that in, no, actually not only in Canada, you probably get that in the U.S. too.
Yeah.
The Fruit Machine, I mean, really? Right? That's like from a sitcom, like Bewitched or something, back in the 60s that kind of crap would happen.
Yeah.
But here's the question. We have that history. Do you believe, as Canadians, we're moving in the right direction?
I really hope so. I think right now it's really hard, because you have what's happening down in the States with 45, really repealing, making it a hard place for a lot of LGBTQ people there. And a lot of people see that in the media and they're like, okay, yeah, that's right. You're having homophobic people and transphobic people.
People feel like now they have a license.
Yeah, because they feel like, okay, I can
assholes.
come out of the closet and I can treat this way and act like that it's a freedom of speech and nobody can say a goddamn thing. But in the real time, it just causes more violence, and it causes more erasure for a lot of people, and makes my job a lot harder to try and create these spaces for other folks just to be themselves, just to grow up and like have opportunities that you and myself, well, maybe not yourself because you're a goddamn sock, but you get it.
That's not very inclusive.
That's not very nice.
Come on,
Sorry.
Teddy, it's my
Sorry.
ethnicity. I got no control over that.
I know.
I forgive you, though.
I almost dressed like you though, gray and orange.
Oh, yeah, I know we didn't even
matched.
coordinate.
See, gay.
Is that a faux pas? Listen, I don't mind somebody calling.
No, it's a stereotype.
Listen, Teddy, people used to send me, when I was on Much, used to send emails where they called me a faggot. And they didn't even, the thing that drove me crazy is they didn't even spell it right. It was facket and, fugget. And like, if you're going to insult me, spell the damn thing right. But I did an editorial back then where I said, I don't give a shit, call me that if you want. It's not an insult. You're not correct, but it isn't insulting to me.
Yeah, well, I'd rather people just like get to know me first and find the real reasons not to like me. Like, fuck you, Teddy, you don't know math. I'm like, oh fuck yeah, that hurt. That hurt. That cut deep.
You should
that cut deep.
dislike Teddy for who
I also
he
like
is,
dicks, but
who he's chosen
I can't
to
do
be.
math.
That's right. You should dislike him for
Overrated.
when he's an asshole, not because of your two-spirit, right? You identify as two-spirit?
Yeah, true.
All right. Teddy, what can people do in their day? Because the problem is, people see these problems, they seem huge. What can people do themselves, day to day, that can help make things better?
I try to follow under like this belief system of try, learn, repeat. Like if you see something
Like
happening,
shampooing.
Yeah, exactly.
Right,
The
okay.
condition and rinse and repeat. But
Right.
if you see like something that's shitty going down, there's an opportunity for you to change that, to make that safer space for somebody else. So whether it's like a problematic drunk auntie at Christmas, or who says something really shitty about LGBTQ and same-sex marriage happening down in Australia, like shut that bitch down. Say something.
Yeah.
Give an opportunity.
Hey, Aunt, shut that bitch down. Yeah, you may want to use more politic terms when talking to your
Political
aunt.
terms.
Yes.
Yeah. My background's in bingo, theater, and social justice, so I fucking swear a lot.
Background's in bingo?
Yeah.
Wait.
I dropped out of high school because of fucking bullying, so I went to bingo because like
Okay, let me ask you
I'm from a reserve.
Have you ever heard of meat bingo?
Hold on.
Bingo?
Have you heard of
Meat bingo? No, not beep bingo.
No,
You know what meat
It's
bingo
like money bingo.
No, there's a thing
Like
in
you
the
go with your
States.
grandma, like with her bingo
No, seriously,
doppers and
Teddy, there's a
shit.
thing in the States called meat bingo.
There was a thing like that in Sault Ste. Marie too. You just like got pork, like it was like
Well, it's
porchetta.
like you win like
Meat bingo.
Okay, well that's in Sault Ste. Marie. By all means, go.
Yeah, okay. Now I have a question for you. Liana, can you put up that picture? Teddy, look on the
Oh
screen.
no.
I'm
What
still
picture?
amazed about meat bingo. This makes me happy. Okay,
Okay.
top.
First time.
Okay, we're gonna.
What do all those letters mean?
Okay, so I like to refer to this in workshops as the LGBTQRSTUV LFMAO WTF acronym.
What do you know what they all mean?
Yes, I do. So,
tell me.
So there's lesbian, gay, bisexual,
Yep.
transgender,
Yep.
Yeah.
And where does that extra T? I want to guess this might be an older acronym for transsexual.
Yeah.
There are, and again, remember, it comes back to language. It comes back to language because
Yeah.
there are some people who still identify as transsexual.
Yeah.
So maybe not use that. Like, don't use like the word Indian when it comes. Like, don't fucking use that. Even though it still says so on my status card. But it's just like a language. And then there's Q. There's queer.
Yeah.
There's questioning.
Yeah.
Again, queer when it comes to language. I use it as a positive, as like reclamation. I reclaim that shit. I take that shit from back.
Okay.
So it's mine now. Fuck off.
Okay.
Queer questioning. Two spirits.
Oh, two S's, two spirits.
Yeah. And then there's intersex.
Okay.
Yeah. And then there's asexual, aromantic.
What's intersex?
Wow.
Intersex is when somebody is born with characteristics of both sexes. So whether it's like the genitalia, gonads, or chromosomes.
Okay.
So yeah, it's actually fairly common in like a lot of people. You might never know.
I give. How about a hand for Teddy? He knew
Very
it all.
good.
They knew.
Yeah.
Finally.
Because first time I saw that, I thought it was Mr. Mix's Pidlick's brother. I mean, there were
so
so many
close.
letters there. Do you think it's time when there's that many letters to come up with just a single word for the community?
I like I use the word gender and sexual diversity. So GSD. So
GSD?
that kind of shortens right up.
That's fine. GSD we can do.
Or you know what? You can always try like plus, like LGBTQ plus, LGBT plus. If you're not.
It sounds like you're getting an extra car package, though. It's like the
a little bit.
LGBT plus. It comes with a spoiler.
Well, but it's important because like the LGBTQ community itself is as diverse as the acronym itself, right? That's why. That's why
people
it
are
exists.
diverse, right?
True.
Yeah, people aren't defined by their gender or their sexual orientation. People are defined by who they are. Now, that's a factor in who people are, but it's not everything. It's not. It doesn't define who everybody is. You know, like you said, people should like you or not like you based on who you are, not because you're too. Like that's not relevant.
It's not. It's really not. So like, if
And I kind of like you.
Oh, I kind of like you too. Thank you so
good.
much.
See,
And like,
we're getting there.
you know what? I fucking loved you as a kid because like I was a little fucking queerdo in Sault Ste. Marie, and as soon as I saw like a sock puppet come up on like Much Music, I'm like, okay, I'm in for all of this. If you can be weird on TV, I can be weird in Sault Ste. Marie. Too strong.
You know what? That's one of the nicest things anybody's ever said to me on camera.
Happy holidays.
I'm very glad to have meant that for you. Thank you. So Teddy, where can people find you? Find your advocacy? Find the kind of stuff you're putting out there for people to pick up. Where can they find you?
Well, I just signed on to be a co-host for CIUT Indigenous Waves.
Okay, that's radio?
89.5. That's radio with Toronto University of Toronto.
It's available online as well for those who are not in the Toronto area.
Yeah. It's on my Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. So.
All right, excellent. Teddy Syrette, everybody.
Congrats. Thank you so much, Ed.
Thank you. Thanks for coming and enlightening us. And that's it. That's the end of our show. What's the matter, Gianna?
Well, we didn't do our dance. Why are you calling the end again?
What do you mean your dance? What dance?
They have this stupid.
Max has to sing, and we need to do the animal dance.
Oh, this thing freaks me out. All right, do it. Max.
You freak me out.
Max, you want to give us a tune?
We're being weird.
All right, let's do it. This has become a new thing. This is what we use technology for.
Please donate.
This is it. All human experiences come to give us this moment.
Patreon.
All right, can we stop it now? I love Max's singing, but the poodle thing freaks the shit out of me. There's something not right about that. The glass eyes or something, it's just not right. I don't know what the hell. All right, Max, we need to have you perform on our show here sometime soon, maybe in the new year.
Oh, this could be the split episode. We could go from here to George's house.
Maybe Anthony can
that'd be all right.
Okay, if we go to George's house, we got.
Sorry, I put you on the spot.
Yeah.
Okay, why is everyone talking to me?
No, Giada and I agreed that if we go to George's house, we're doing it in
You're
these.
not in control anymore here.
Hey, Max, I'll play drums and be your drummer.
We're totally going furry.
I'll bring my unicorn mask.
Hey, Ed.
I have a onesie.
Oh,
Yes!
That's great.
Ed, you heard Teddy. Us being weird may encourage somebody in some fuck nowhere
This may
town to
turn
be
into a
themselves
reunion of
too.
Electric
You know what's
Circus if we're
weird
not
to me?
careful.
People who just... What's weird... I don't know what the hell you said, but it wasn't important. What's weird to me is people who live their life in a way to satisfy other people instead of trying to do something that makes them happy. Now, if that makes them happy, fine, but so many people live life in a conformist way to make other people happy, and it doesn't make them happy. That, to me, it's not weird. It's just it's just sad. And hopefully we're building a world now where people can be who the hell they are. Because, politically incorrect is kind of a bullshit term. Basically what politically correct is telling people, hey, can you treat everybody with the same kind of dignity and respect that you'd like to be treated with? Thank you very much. Sometimes it goes a little fucking crazy, but most of the time, what comes out as politically correct is just, hey, those people that we didn't treat with dignity before, we're going to treat them with dignity now. And we're going to refer to them in the ways they like to be referred to, not in the ways we've decided to label them. That's not politically correct. That's just being not an asshole.
Yeah.
And that's what it comes down
All right.
to. All right, that's Liana.
Can we dance again?
No more dance. Okay, you know what? We're going to
There's
go...
a book suggestion. There's
What?
a book suggestion.
There's a suggestion?
From
What?
Daniel. The book is called Children with Turner Syndrome Are Genetically Neuter. And the book is by Steven Pinker.
It's called...
Blanks-
What's
the
it called?
I think
Children
those are
with-
I don't know.
What is
I don't
this?
know what this guy's
Okay, don't talk to this guy.
We're confused. Let's dance.
Daniel.
dancing.
All right.
We're
Thank you,
dancing.
chat. Thank you, George
And Nick goes
Stroumboulopoulos.
on last.
And thank you. And make sure you check out the Strombo Show on YouTube. Check out George's social media. Check out Teddy Syrette. And we're going to leave you with... Oh, I'm going to leave because this is going on. I'm Ed the Sock. I'm nobody's puppet. Don't you be either. Aloha. All right, have fun. Do your creepy shit. This is all creepy as shit.
I can't see to turn the show off.